Hi, it's the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your May 2017 general readings. Thank you so much for joining us here today, and welcome to any newcomers who are here with us for the first time. Thank you always for continuing to watch and listen and follow my YouTube channel, and for my subscribers, thank you for taking the time to send all your lovely support and feedback and writing in your comments. And thank you to those of you who also continue to reach out for personal, my tongue is dripping today. Thank you for those of you who are keeping me so busy with personal one-on-one readings. It's an honor and a pleasure always to read for you, and I'm grateful for your trust. And thank you to my regular clients as well. You guys are great with the consistent feedback on how our readings continue to play out. And thank you to those of you who donate to my channel in support of my YouTube channel as well. And if any of you are interested in donating to the support of my YouTube channel, you can find me on PayPal through my email address. And if any of you are interested in reaching out for a personal one-on-one reading and you've never read with me before, you can click on the About or Description button on my YouTube channel's homepage, which will give you a little more information and my email address. You can email me directly at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I would be delighted to work with you. I do readings full-time 6 days a week, so I'm usually able to get back with you pretty quickly. Current turnaround time being anywhere from a few days, upwards of 2 weeks, but almost always within a 2-week period of time. I do love and romance readings, compatibility charting, career, work, and finance, year overviews, channeled messages, regular monthly readings, and so on. So if you're interested, send me an email and we will go from there. So these are general readings. Make sure to check your rising and your moon sign videos as well. They may play out a little more predictably for you than your sun sign videos some months. And just by watching all three, you get additional insight and clarity usually in what's going on in your life for the time frame that the reading covers, which in this case is May 2017. Because, of course, there's many of you watching, thousands of you watching, and it's not going to mean the same thing to the same degree or intensity for everyone watching. How could it? Everyone has different things going on in their lives. So try to watch sun, moon, and rising videos if you can. I continue to use the Gilded Tarot by artist Ciro Marchetti, drawing 8 cards for the month. 2 cards for each week, time being somewhat relative, of course, with an additional 9th card from the bottom of the deck as your crowning card representing overall energy and advice. So, moving right along, this reading is for the Earth sign of Virgo for May 2017. Let us see what is in store for this beautiful month of May for the Earth sign of Virgo. Virgo, May 2017. What is in store for Virgo in May 2017? What do they need to see and know? Okay, Virgo. We begin with the Devil, a little out of balance there, Virgo, followed by the Knight of Wands. Okay. We have the Four of Swords, followed by the Nine of Wands, Judgment, followed by Temperance, and the Seven of Pentacles, followed by the Nine of Pentacles. And from the bottom of the deck as your crowning card, overall energy and advice, is the Four of Pentacles. So there's a fair amount of earth energy here and also of fire energy. So for a lot of you, this may play out more in that tangible sector of your life. It could be job, work, career, project-oriented, something project-oriented. I feel like, well, let's just go ahead and begin. Your crowning card, Virgo, is the Four of Pentacles. So Earth is the element that governs the suit of pentacles, and it often manifests itself in the earthly, tangible sector of our life. And often that's things like money, finances, property, resources, assets, how we perform in our day-to-day life, whether it's at work or at home. You can apply the same energy to relationships and spirituality as well, but it's about tangible results of the efforts we put into things, and it usually manifests in pretty tangible, concrete ways. So the Four of Pentacles is a card about holding on. Sometimes it can reference holding on too tightly and needing to open up or let go. Sometimes it can represent being too closed off, too guarded, needing to open up a bit more. This sometimes the Four of Pentacles comes up when somebody's holding on to something too tightly because they've lost a lot in their lives, and they tend to cling to what they have for fear of losing it. But for you, I feel, especially looking at the rest of these cards, Virgo, and starting out with the Devil and the Knight of Wands, I feel like there's a lot of contemplative energy here too, and cautionary advice into being careful about how you proceed through something, because it feels like you're considering whether or not to hold on or let go of something. And it feels like maybe around the end of April or beginning of May, because I am recording these at the end of April, the desire, the temptation is to just kind of charge in and maybe make some kind of decision or take action on something without thinking everything through. And the danger is that you're going to set something in motion you can't reverse, or make a decision that you're going to regret. So the advice is to really spend a lot of the month kind of contemplating whether or not to continue with something, holding on or letting go, or continuing to invest what you've been investing in it. And what that thing is, of course, is going to play out differently depending on who's watching. But the level of fire and earth energy here, it could be a job, it could be a career path, a project of some kind, a group or organization of some kind. It could even be a creative or artistic endeavor or project that you've been working on. And again, you can apply, it could be a relationship. You can apply the same energy to relationship, although I'm not really feeling much of that. It feels more tangible and concrete than that. I feel like maybe something has happened. For some of you, it may be that something has happened and that you weren't expecting, that represents a delay or a setback of some kind, and it's made you rethink your entire investment in this. For some of you, I feel like maybe it could even be that there's been a lack of movement. Let me just peek at the next card here. The Hanging Man. Underneath the overall energy card, the next card from the bottom of the deck was the Hanging Man, which can represent feeling like you're in stasis and limbo, or not experiencing any movement. So some of you, it may be that you've been investing in something for quite some time, and it's just not going anywhere. You don't feel like it's progressing at the rate that you think it should. So you've just come to this point where it kind of feels like you want to throw your hands up in the air, especially starting off with this energy of the Devil and the Knight of Wands, because the Devil represents imbalance, and pretty significant, profound imbalance too, because it's major arcana card, so significant, profound energies. The scales being out of whack. This can represent strong temptations, addictions like drugs, alcohol, work, etc. Temptation to perhaps do something that you may later regret. And paired with a Knight of Wands, which is fire energy, which is the element that governs the suit of wands. It's very dynamic, fast-moving energy. Knights are the bringers and the deliverers of the tarot. They often represent an offer or opportunity, and they can also represent the speed at which something, a situation moves. And Knights also have the energy of tending to be it's a very spontaneous, impulsive energy. They've matured beyond the page, the dreamer kind of conceiving the idea stage. Knights are the ones that begin to turn something into reality, but it's spontaneous, impulsive energy. So some of you I feel like a lot of you are kind of entering the month of May 2017 feeling like you want to see something happen quickly. It's like you want to go charging in and start yelling or demanding changes or create changes, or you're considering just dumping something because you're frustrated with either a lack of movement, or something has happened to cause a setback or a delay. Again, it feels like for you, the dilemma, Virgo, is in deciding whether or not to hold on to something, to let go of it. If you hold on to it, can you change it somehow? And feeling just kind of a sense of irritation, frustration, wanting to just kind of charge in and do something about it. But the advice is quite strongly oriented towards the opposite. This is all about needing to take what looks like for a lot of you, the majority of May, if possible, if it's to consider and weigh things out very carefully before you go making sending anything into motion, making any significant changes or decisions. Next, we have the energy of the Four of Swords. followed by the Nine of Wands. So Swords is air energy. That's the element that governs this suit. It's mental, cerebral, intellectual energy. It's all about our words and our ideas and how we communicate them, about our belief system and outlooks, about what goes on up here, how we think about things and how we communicate those things. The Four of Swords is a card of rest and respite. It can represent feeling just worn out, tired, exhausted, again, frustrated, irritated. It also represents a withdrawal from conflict, but a temporary one. It's not like a full-blown retreat. It's a temporary one because you need to kind of maybe go within, seek out some inner wisdom and guidance, or maybe get some feedback from somebody else. Take a step back from this and kind of contemplate. Some of you too may be just worn out, exhausted from something you've been investing a lot of time in, and whether it's a lack of movement or there's been something happen that it's just not turning out the way that you want. And even though you feel like charging in and making some big decision or doing something different or dumping it all together, the advice is to take a step back, to kind of rest, recuperate, maybe get away for a while, get some more sleep. It looks like you need to take a step back and get a fresh perspective on this so that you don't run the risk of setting something into motion you may regret later on. And that's underscored by its accompanying card, which is the Nine of Wands, which is a card of kind of not giving up at the 11th hour. But again, it's a card of taking a step back. This grouping of 8 wands behind this man represents a block he's run into in his journey. He's a soldier and he's been through a number of battles, and he's probably tired, worn out, exhausted. I feel like overall a lot of you are with whatever this situation is. He's run into an obstacle, delay, a challenge of some kind when he wasn't expecting it and when he was close to finishing the journey, because 10s represent completion. We're at the 9 here, the Nine of Wands, so it's close to being at the end of something. And again, it could be that there's no progress, or it feels like progress is too slow, or there's been some kind of obstacle or delay crop up in this thing that you've been investing yourself in. And it's all about taking a step back, because I think a lot of you are tired, and we tend not to see things so clearly when we're tired, frustrated. So the strong advice here is to take a step back, maybe get away for a little bit, remove yourself from it if at all possible. Maybe go away for a little while, just get into a quiet place and try to get a different perspective on this. And maybe take care of yourself, get some rest, so that when you do make a decision, it's after having considered everything completely, and that it's not a decision based purely on emotion, or spontaneity or impulsivity as well. Because I kind of feel like a lot of you, it's this at the beginning of the month, it's like just throwing your hands in the air and just wanting to just kind of charge in and either end it or do something really quite dramatic. But the advice is the opposite. You're tired, you're worn out, you're frustrated. Take a step back, maybe get away for a little while, recharge, rest a bit, get a different perspective on this. Do not just go charging in and make any major decisions right now. Just hold on, because whatever this is, it looks like you're pretty far down the path and you're close to some kind of completion stage or milestone phase in it, even if it feels like you're not. Now, next to that, we have, it's kind of like the message repeated again, only stronger. So this desire to just kind of rush in and maybe just throw something out the window feels quite strong, because next to that, we have 2 major arcana cards. We have Judgment and Temperance together. Similar energy. Judgment is a call to action, meaning that a decision will need to be made at some point. I say some point because if at all possible, I feel like May should be about considering things, weighing things out, and taking breaks from it occasionally, and then coming back to it to make sure you still feel the same way about it, that it's not based on emotions, which means that what you want to do can change from day to day because emotions fluctuate. So it is a call to action, but it's a call to careful action. There's an air of finality about judgment, meaning that the advice attached to judgment is to weigh things out very carefully, consider the pros and cons, look at the possible outcomes of decisions that you make, how it's going to affect you, how it may affect other people involved in this, if there's other people involved in this, before you make any significant changes, because whatever changes you make, whatever you set into motion, you're not going to be able to come back from, or be able to come back from easily. It's going to set the stage for something for quite some time. So consider very carefully. And it's paired with the major arcana card of Temperance, which is similar. Temperance is about that: temperance, patience, balance, harmony. It is. It's also cautionary about for the month of May. It looks like your challenge is going to be spontaneously, impulsively making changes, decisions, ending something, not ending something. So it's about finding the middle road this month. Be careful about what you say, what you do. Again, I feel like time, like if you feel like making a specific change, a significant change, wait a few days, think about it maybe for up to a week if you can, come back to it, see if you feel the same way, because temperance is a lot about mental and emotional balance as well. My analogy for it is a seesaw or a teeter-totter. It's being in the middle. When you're on the outside end, you're at the mercy of other people, the situation changing, your own emotions, but when you're centered and grounded, no matter how much it goes up and down, you don't lose your balance. So temperance is about being careful, not being spontaneous or impulsive. Even if you don't have an answer or solution right now, it's also about being in peace, being in acceptance of that, and understanding that, trying to remove yourself from it as much as possible, as often as possible. I feel like it's a process, Virgo, through May for you. Thinking about something, even when you feel like you've come to a decision, I feel like you ought to wait, give it some time, a few days, go back to it, see if you feel the same way, making sure that any significant changes or decisions you make are balanced, and that you end up feeling the same way about them as time continues to go on. I feel like making these decisions based purely on emotion is going to be a bad idea. Even though for some of you the decision is going to be different. Some of you may decide to hold on to this thing, some of you may decide to let go of it, some of you may decide to hold on to it but make some significant changes or rattle some cages, because I do feel like a lot of frustration because things aren't working out as planned or going as fast as you'd like them to go. And it looks like the majority of the month is spent, or the advice is to really not make a definitive decision if at all possible, and try to actually take a break from it, or take regular breaks from it, to make sure that your perspective stays the same when you come back, so that you know when you make a decision you really feel like it's the best one possible. At or towards the end of the month, we have the energy of the Seven of Pentacles, followed by the Nine of Pentacles, so a lot of earth energy here. So this could very well be job, work, career related. It could be property or real estate. When you just think about things in your tangible, concrete world, it could be artistic or creative endeavors too, but I feel like it's a tangible thing. So the Seven of Pentacles is reflection and assessment. It's harvest time. Okay, what have been the results so far? What have you gleaned so far? Have you gotten back what you invested? Is it worth continuing? Should you just take what you can and leave? Should you continue investing in this? It's a card of considering whether or not the path that you're on, what you're involved in, is worth, if you're getting out of it what you wanted, and if not, is it worth continuing in, or should you just, count your losses and run? Now, the Seven of Pentacles is paired with the Nine of Pentacles, which is a card of prosperity and abundance, but it's also a card of independence, self-sufficiency, and self-empowerment. Everything that this woman is enjoying from her beautiful gown, she's obviously able to have the resources to take good care of herself. She's enjoying all of these things around her. She's surrounded by things which imply perhaps luxury, physical, material, financial comforts, but she's earned them herself, which is why there's a sense of empowerment in the energy of the Nine of Pentacles. Nobody's handed anything to her. Everything she's enjoying, she's worked hard for. It's as a result of her own work, idea, talent, skills. It's sometimes nicknamed the happy, single, successful person card, whether or not she's attached, because she feels very good about who she is, what she is, where she's going, where she's headed in life. It is a card of independence. It's not necessarily a card of being alone, but I think for some of you, you're being asked, what you're considering, or what you're being asked to be careful in considering this decision, whether or not to continue putting your effort, your time, your investment into, what are you getting out of it? Is it leading you to a place of prosperity and abundance? Do you feel empowered on this path? If not, is there a way that you can create changes in order for that to happen? Is this an investment that you shouldn't continue? Is it taking away a sense of independence or prosperity? Is it draining you? Again, the energy is, it looks like for the majority of May, is to be careful about the decisions you make. Try to stay even. Try not to go off the deep end one way or the other, particularly in in making decisions, taking action, even saying things in the heat of the moment are based purely entirely on feelings, emotions, particularly if those feelings and emotions are irritation, impatience, frustration, because things aren't working out the way that you wanted them to or at the speed that you wanted them to. And if you do all this and you come to the conclusion that it's not, then this may be something you have to walk away from, whether it's a job, a project, a career path, or even a relationship. But the strong, strong energy is, before you make a decision to let go or to hold on or to continue to invest in something, change it or let go of it, to think very carefully, weigh out all the pros and cons and the possible outcome of the decisions that you could make before you set something into motion, and make sure that once you feel like you've come to a decision, sit on it for a little while and make sure that that remains the same way before you set anything into motion, because whatever you set into motion here, begin, and you're not going to really be able to kind of come back from. So be very, very careful, Virgo. It'd be interesting to see what the feedback is on this. I feel like for a lot of you, this is something more tangible than a relationship, but for some of you this could be a relationship, or it could be a project that you're in with somebody else as well, because I do feel like it also affects more than just you. That's pretty much what I'm getting. So Virgo, that pretty much wraps up your May 2017 reading. I'd be interested in getting some feedback on this one, because it's not as, there's a lot of variables here. It's not coming across as clear as I wish it would. But I hope that it did provide some insight and some guidance for you. If for nothing else, don't go charging off and make any major decisions during the month of May for any important things you're investing in, unless you absolutely have to. And if you do, try to take as much time as you can before you decide on a course of action. So Virgo, thank you very much for watching this. I will see you all again in a few weeks for the May 2017 mid-month readings. And if any of you are interested in a more specific, tailored just for you, one-on-one reading, please feel free to contact me at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. That email is also listed under the about or description button on my YouTube channel's homepage. And I will see you all again soon. And until then, as always, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. And I hope to see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.